Hi everyone, I'm Julie from Julie's Everything Treasures, and unfortunately I recorded this yesterday while I was doing my live on Facebook, and for some reason it stopped. So anybody that knows anything technical, while I was getting a phone call it stopped videoing. So if anybody knows why that's doing it all of a sudden on my iPhone, let me know. That would be wonderful. Please contact or put in the comments what I could do, because that is really annoying. Anyway, hello everyone on YouTube and on my website. I am recording this for the second time so that you guys can get to see this too. So I'm Julie from Julie's Everything Treasures, and yes, I'm a little bit late. I'm a day late because it's a second recording. Anyway, to catch up on my week, I'm just going to go over a few of the things that are happening. Because of what's happening in the world, unfortunately, I have spent the whole day on Tuesday updating my website, and if you go on to julieseverythingtreasures.com, you'll be able to see my website, and I have a for sale section that's always been there, but what I did is I completely redid it with everything I have for sale, and it's got itemized numbers, so it's got its own item number. Can't talk, it's too early in the morning for me. It's got its own item number, price, and you can contact me in Messenger or by text. All the information's there, and this is for anyone that's local to me. I'm in Chilliwack, BC, Canada. This is on the west coast of Canada, and this is for people that want to purchase things that I have created. And I'm right now, I can't do open houses, I can't sell that way obviously, so I'm doing pickup at the front door or at the curb, whichever's good for you. And I do a scheduled time for pickup, and you can put the cash in my mailbox or under my rug, or you can e-transfer the money. And because it's a scheduled time, I can look out my front window, keep an eye on the item at the front door until you've picked it up, and make sure that everything is great for you. And as I say, for a scheduled time too, just out of respect of others, I can then schedule other people at different times so that you're not bumping into anyone at all. So that's what I'm doing. Everything's itemized, so flip over to my website, have a look after you've watched this video, and I hope you enjoy this video. So this basically is, I don't think I have one, but I have soft cover books. Everybody has them. This one I believe was a Harlequin book, and lots of people have these really old trashy novels that they may be read in the 70s or 60s or 80s, I don't know, but not many people that are younger choose these books now. So if you are given them, like I was given a whole bag of these books by actually my grandma, Omi, so thank you. And I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them because it's not my genre of reading, and they are really old. She obviously had them in her attic for a while, and she's going through stuff and getting rid of stuff, and thought I'd like to maybe do something with them somehow, and I love a challenge. So what I have done is I have created something that you can do with these softcover books that are absolutely useless. Now, I have painted the front of the books with a light grey chalk paint, just because what I'm doing, I just don't want the brightness of the front cover to show through. So each one I've just painted just one coat very easily, very quickly. It's not even a full cover, just to help that the actual front cover doesn't show through when we're doing this. And what we're making is basically fillers, as I call them. So this isn't something I'm going to particularly sell. It's chip. As I say, it's morning. I don't usually do recordings in the morning. I'm not particularly a morning person, and my husband will definitely tell you, unless I've had 6 coffees in the morning, I'm useless, and I've only had 2 so far. So anyway, back to this. It's cheap, it's easy. And one thing right now, which might be good for some people, is you can do this with the kids. So it's kind of a good way that way. So as I say, I'm calling it a filler because basically here's some I've already made. This one. And this one. And it's basically parceling up paper onto the books and making them look, some of them old and some of them just wrapped in brown paper, making them look like parcels, which you could do this around a small, Christmas tree at Christmas even. So idea, if you've got a smaller Christmas tree and you just want to make it look kind of rustic, you could just wrap up some old books. And this one is a little bit more fancy. And basically what I use these for is with some of my items that I have created, I want to display it, and I don't always have the perfect item to display it with, so I can put a couple of items. I don't think I have anything here right now that I can show you. Let's say, for instance, I have this jar here. I'm going to bring you down so I can show you. Hold on, let me bring you down. Alright, so let's say for instance I want to try and sell this jar and maybe sell this pot too. And I want something to enhance this. What I can do is basically, I'll just bring this back so it's a little bit more not right in your face. I can basically just add it into the picture. It gives you that 3, and you can put it that way. You can even just put it this way, or even over here. You can even just put something like that. Put it in the, I don't have the perfect solution here, but you can put it in the background like that. Or let's do one more, because this one's very basic, very simple. You can just have something like that, and it just gives it, it's a filler, it's a background, it's for putting on your shelves. You don't necessarily need to sell it, it's just creating space or a gap, especially if you've got, say, a bookshelf or something that you've got some books but you don't have lots of books. You can display it basically like books too, with being very cheap and not necessarily using all your hardback books. You can just do it this way. So we're going to get on with doing this, and basically the first one I did was with some brown paper. So I'm going to get, let's do the big book. I like doing the bigger books with the brown paper. So I'm going to basically stamp the brown paper. So I'm going to use the IOD permanent ink. It's already, this is the stone grey that I usually use on my pad. And for this one, I'm just going to do the stamp that is distress stamp. So I'm just going to push the ink onto the stamp and just then push the stamp down onto the brown paper. All over, just to give it a little bit of a distressed look. A little bit more on there. That last one didn't come out, I didn't put enough ink on. I just put it on. You've seen me do this before many times, so basically you have distressed paper now. So I'm also going to use the ink and just put a tiny little bit of one of my favorites, the crackle stamp. So what I'm going to do is going to figure out where on the book the brown paper would be on the front of the book, and I'm going to try to get myself organised here. As I say, not a morning person, not a good idea for me to do this in the mornings. I'm going to just put a little bit of ink in one little area. And then push this down just where I think the front of the book's going to be. So and push that on. And lift that up. And I'm going to see if I can just... I've got it upside down so you guys can see it, but can you see the crackle on the paper? Alright, so what I'm going to do is wrap this book basically in this paper. So make sure that, yeah, the crackle is on. I'm going to cut some of this off because this is a big piece of paper. I don't need it all. And a little bit off this side too. And I'm using my hot glue gun for this just because I don't want to use tape, or because I want it to make it look rustic and old, and tape is not an old product. And also, if I just use some paper glue, some of these thicker, especially the brown paper, would not stick very easily, especially trying to do it showing you guys quickly and, you know, on a video here. I would have to be holding it for quite a while for it to actually dry. If you want to use just a regular Elmer's glue, I'm sure you could, it just would take a little longer to dry on you. So I just put a little bit of bead of the glue stick along the edge and just literally stick it on. All you're doing basically is wrapping a present. You've done it at Christmas, you don't have to be amazing at it. I'm not saying, oh, I'm great at wrapping presents, I'm going to show you. I'm not. So you just do it however you feel you can. And just do your ends. And as I say, this part here, because now it's folded, is quite stiff and heavy. And that's where using the glue gun actually works good, because it helps keep it stuck. So just, without burning your hands, pretty much. I've just got glue all over my fingers, and it's hot, but that's okay, it's not too bad. It's not one of those really hot glue guns. I don't think I would ever buy one of those because I'm always getting the glue on my fingers. So I think I'd be quite dangerous with that. I'd always have blisters, so I don't think I'll get one of those big hot ones. So that's one side, and now we're going to just do the other side and do the same thing. As I say, it's just like wrapping a parcel like you do at Christmas, or you know, when you're sending something out. Press it down, hold it till it sticks a little. And then you've got the basic parcel like this. And then I just use twine to wrap around it. So I put the twine around the top, and then underneath I twist it and then turn it coming back the other way without the twine falling off the table. Then I pull up, oops, almost dropped it again, they're always rolling here. And then just cut the twine the same length as the other piece, and then bring it closer to you. I'm going to do just basic tie once, and then bring the twine underneath so you're catching the other piece and pull it tight, and then tie again to keep it in place. And then you can do your bow or however you want. You can do ribbon and pretty paper if you wish, but I like the rustic look. And there you go, that one's done. So that's the basic one. Alright, the next one, we're going to do some stamping. So what we're going to do here is, I think, yeah, this is the one I want. I already have the stamps in place from me doing it yesterday. So here I've got, it's the stamp, I think it's the rose toil, I'm not sure, can't remember what it's called. But basically I have my flowers, some words, there's a little dragonfly, some more words. And I'm going to stamp this directly onto the paper. So I'm going to put my book underneath so I know exactly where because I just want it on the front. And then I'm going to push the ink onto the stamp, all directions, so you get lots of ink onto the stamp. I juiced up my pad yesterday, so it should come out quite nicely. Make sure you put the top on in between so that you don't dry out your pad while you're doing your creating. And then I'm going to turn it over and press it down onto my paper. Now trying to get, it won't all fit on, and that's okay. I want it to look like it's coming off, right? I'm pressing everywhere to get all the details of the ink to come through, especially the words you want each letter. And then pull it up. And what you have is this. Isn't that pretty? Now basically you could wrap that onto, and I think I will. I think I'm going to put this one like this, just like this, on. So let's use the glue. And let's just wrap it up. Glue on the edges, just a little, just to stick it down in place. Do the ends, not as much end to do when you're just doing the white paper. Just put a little glue on and then push up and hold in place. Without burning your fingers, just hold it in place. I can hear the birds singing. It's a beautiful day. We had a little bit of snow last week, and that was kind of surprising with it being April, but not unusual. It is spring. But today it's actually one of the hottest days so far this April, and it's going to get up to 19 degrees. So I'm hoping to be out in the garden a little bit this afternoon, so that'll be nice. And I'm going to just do the other side. Put some glue on and then just fold it up. And then I I can turn this one over and it's just basically like this, and you can put that anywhere. You can put twine around, you can put a bow around, you can make with any of your stamps any pictures you want. And another thing that you could do is, because it's just paper, you could literally photocopy any picture onto your printer and wrap your book. Anything you want that you can basically photocopy with your printer. My printer unfortunately is out of ink, so I haven't done that to show you, but you don't even need to stamp. You could literally find a picture online and or a design or a template or something, and you can just literally print that off and wrap it around your book. And as I say, this is not for sale, it's just a filler to put on shelves to sell the item, just to help enhance the item. So it's just a filler. So I'm going to do one more, and this one I'm going to do with the paper, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a rustic book. So one more book, and I think I'm going to do these. So we're going to stamp up, this is the I think it's classic pots or something, the pot stamps. So I'm going to put the book underneath and try and find where the front is, and I'm going to stamp this on top. Oh, piece of paper went on. Getting it all juiced up with the ink. And then put that on. Put it down here. Pressing around, making sure you get all the detail of the stamp. And lift that one up. And I'm also just going to put these words too on the top part. So just going to put that on as well. Just a little extra. On top here. Now what I'm going to do also is I want to find, can you see what I'm doing here? I want to find where my edges are before I take it off of the front. I'm just creasing it to find my edges. And then with the pad, you've seen me do this before, I'm just going to run the pad along the edges. And I'm just going to try and flip this around so you can see. So I've got the crease here, can you see that? And I'm just running the actual pad itself along the edge, making sure that the corners, you go over the corners kind of right across them, pushing it on. And the last corner, and I'll show you exactly what I've done. It's a little awkward trying to do it and show you because I like doing it this way. Just going to make sure I've got the corners all in place. And cover up the ink pad. So basically that's what we have. So you're going to just wait for that to dry a little because it is ink, it takes a little bit to dry. That's quite dry, so that's good. And I'm just going to put underneath this plastic, because what I'm going to do next is I have some instant coffee, and what I do is I make a full cup of coffee instant coffee, so it's just the the granules of instant coffee and water. Just make it as you would a black coffee. And when I'm doing stuff like this, I make a full cup, and when I'm not using it, I just put it in the fridge, so then you can use it over a few days and then throw it out. And I'm using just basically a chippy old brush, nothing important. Stir up the coffee, get the brush nice and wet, and then just go over the whole piece of paper. And as I say, if you've got a bit of plastic you can put down, that would be great. What I do is, the next part, what you're going to be doing is putting it in the oven. So you want it in the oven at about 200 degrees. Well, not about, you want it at 200 degrees. And you're putting this in the oven for about 5 minutes. And that part is about, you want to stand next to your oven, keep checking it. You are literally putting paper into an oven, so you don't want it to burn, you don't want it to catch fire. But you're putting it in the oven so until the paper is dry. That's what you're doing. And then when the paper is dry, bring it out. So how I do this is I place the paper onto a baking tray, and then I put the coffee on, and then put the whole baking tray in the oven, because you don't want to just put it in the oven like this as paper, because then you'll get the lines of the grids. So if you put it on a baking sheet, your piece of paper with your design on, however you want it, then put the coffee on top, and then put the actual baking sheet with the paper in the oven, 200 degrees for 5 minutes, but making sure within that 5 minutes you keep checking it, keep an eye on it, and then bring it out just basically when the paper is dry. So I'm not going to do that right now, obviously. I would have to run downstairs with the oven and everything else, and that would be boring for you. So I'm going to put that to one side, and I do have one that I made and put it in the oven, and that's what you get. And it's just another way, rather than using the brown paper, to make it look old. So this one, I'm going to wrap it over onto my book. And use the glue stick to just tack it down onto the book. Glue stick on the other side, tack it down onto the book. And then just do the tops like you will, as I say, it's just like when you're doing a parcel, when you're doing a Christmas present, birthday present. And I would show you step by step how I fold it, but actually I don't think I'm very good at it, and I'm sure you're better than I am at folding. So why show you something that, I mean, I do it, I make my corners, but they're not perfect, and I'm okay with that because this is rustic, right? We don't need it to be perfect. So I'll pull my glue stick out because I don't need that to be on. And this one is like that. Now what I could do is I could add on to it to make it rustic afterwards, is just add a little bit of the pad onto the edges. I can do it after. I prefer it before, just for the sake of it looks, because the coffee's on top, it looks like it's been, you know, basically an old piece of paper has been in the attic a long time, where doing it afterwards it's a little bit too fresh, the ink, you know. But just to give you an idea here, of how you can do it. Do I have it up the right way? There you go. Like that. And then with this one, I think I would just get some twine and maybe just wrap it along, go around 3 times, top to bottom. Cut it off, tie it, go underneath the whole lot. I did one end, I've got long, one end I've got short. I would try, if I was you, make it a little bit more even, but you get the gist of what I'm doing here. Make your bow. And just do it that way. And that one's finished. So we have, this one's the same design. One is just basic white paper, and the other one is putting coffee on the top. And this one I used the letters stamp and the number stamp, and I did NO for number 1. And the dot, the dot doesn't come with a stamp, so I just used the top of the J to do the dot. And this one's just a simplicity one, and just a filler for simplicity. And as I say, you can use brown paper, make it look like a parcel. This one here, I don't know if you can see it well, but I used the writing, the kind regards stamp that we've used before, and I did that one. And we have, this is the crockery stamp, and this one also is the crockery stamp, a different crockery stamp. One's the white and one's using the actual coffee. You can use tea, I believe, but I find coffee gives it more of a browner colour, where the tea is more of a reddish brown. Anyway, I'm going to bring you back up here and say hello. And that, simple and easy. You can do this with the kids, just be careful with the hot glue gun, but you can also use, as I say, take your time and use the Elmer's glue if you want, because it is just paper. You can just play around with the kids. Even you can get old books, get a piece of white paper, and maybe even photocopy something that the kids into. Like if they're young, you could maybe do some Disney photocopies or whatever they're into, horses, ponies, rabbits for Easter, Easter chicks, all kinds of thing. If your kids are a little bit older, you could maybe, if they've got a favourite TV show or cartoon show, or movie even, or if they do video games, you could photocopy some kind of picture image from online, find an image, photocopy it onto a piece of paper, and you can either age it if you want, or just leave it basic as is and wrap it around a book and just put it on the shelf in their bedroom, and they can say they did it, that's theirs, and it was cheap and easy and something to do with the kids right now while they are off. Alright, so I am going to be back again on, well, I record on Saturday, but I don't believe I put it onto YouTube until Sunday, so you'll see me on Sunday. And I will be doing this kind of thing, but taking it a little bit into a different direction. And I will be doing some more hardback books. You've seen me do those before, but I will also be taking them a little bit of a step forward too. So thanks for watching. This one was a simple one. Hope you didn't find it too easy and too boring, but it just gives you an idea of how to make things to put on shelves as fillers, as I say. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to jump onto my website. If you're watching on YouTube, jump onto my website. If you're already on my website and watching, please go to the for sale area, have a look around. If you're not in the area, just have a look around anyway, see all the things I've made and enjoy. And if you are local to the area, have a look, see if there's anything you would like, and I will make it safe and easy for you to do pick up for those items for sale. And also, I'm just letting you know, if you are in my area, in the BC, you know, Chilliwack area, Abbotsford, that area, if you're local to me, you know, friends, family and neighbours, I'm asking for people to donate their junk. This is stuff that you no longer need. Maybe you're spring cleaning your house out right now. You could have maybe candle stands, ornaments, books, tins, anything in your house that maybe you would donate to a thrift store, or maybe you just don't need, and right now you're homebound and clearing out your house and you've got bags or boxes of junk that you just don't know what to do with. If you look or message me, text me, or even just look onto my website, I have my address. You can leave the boxes just out front at my front door. You don't need to contact me, you don't need to come in, just leave it. Especially this week, it's a beautiful dry week, so nothing's going to get wet. But under my front door there, it is covered. If you can donate those items, that would be wonderful, because as right now I'm not going out and the thrift stores are closed, and I love coming up with ideas to do with things, create and do videos and show people how to make trash to treasures. What simple things you have lying around your house that maybe you'll throw out, junk, you can actually make and do something with. And I want to continue doing that through this hard times, and I don't want to run out of stuff, so if you could donate, that would be amazing. And as I say, I just need stuff that you would just pretty much throw away anyway. Furniture, anything that you have that you're thinking, well, I would just kind of take it to somewhere to dispose of it. If you can just grab a box or a bag and just put it at my place, I would be happy for the donations. As I say, contact me if you need more information about that. And also, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a great day and be safe.